Woo! What's going on out there, YouTube? This is SEL0320 representing JVS. I just got out of IMAX feature Blade Runner 2049. This is the follow-up to Blade Runner. I had maybe a week and a half ago, for the first time ever, looked at Blade Runner, the final cut. I haven't looked at anything else prior, so I was really immersed into it. I love the story. I loved what they did with the process of Rick Deckard. I love what they did with what is a replicant and what is their ideals, what do they mean, and how society treats them. Like, those different cues really intrigued me, and they push it beyond its boundaries. And not just in this film, but even the anime, which was the Blackout 2022. They had a 2038 that had to do with Jared Leto's Wallace and the Wallace Corporation from what happened there. And then the one that was 2048 with Bautista, which you can check out all of that in the description bar below, the reactions and thought process I had. Even my man Kenny, me and him, we dissected that. But let's go down to the nitty-gritty about this movie. What did I feel about it? It is a visual masterpiece. Clear and simple. I think that the movie itself, conceptually, you're going to have to watch it again to really know how you really feel about it. But make no mistake, from the visual aesthetic, some of the visual effects in this, I don't know how they did it. There's a specific moment towards the third act with Rick Deckard and Jared Leto's character when they have this conversation. There's something that happens in there that I don't know visually how they did it. On top of the amazing sequences of the aerial stuff, like the aerial moments, the rain droppings, everything about the visual aesthetic of this film is masterful. Like, it's filmmaking eye candy. Like, I felt like I was watching a Christopher Nolan film, but in the scope and the eyes of a great director in Denis Villeneuve. Denis, he actually directed Enemy, Prisoners, recently Arrival, and Sicario, which was a major hit. And he takes all of those different thematic elements, the visual immersion, the tone, the quiet moments, and he adds that into this lore and this staged arena of what Blade Runner 1 created aesthetically. Because it's like, even though, you know, yes, this is 2049, where the original one took place at a different time frame, I think it was 2019, like, you can tell that the technology has grown, but you're still marveling at the fact of what you're seeing. Because when you go down to the ground level, like, there was a moment where they were sitting there looking at a person that was farming. He was farming for, like, insects. He's farming for, like, protein. And even with the society, like, you can tell that they're so much more mushed together, even more so than they were before when we saw them before. So it's like the society has evolved, but based on where they were, not like the preconceived notion of, like, all right, they should be this higher innovation. No, that's not it. The other thing that was really intriguing about this is the AI. The AI system is played by, what is the girl's name? Oh my gosh. Joey Armas plays the role of Joey. It's Joi. Her and Ryan Gosling's chemistry was off the charts, which is very weird, because there were moments where, like, visually he was interacting with her back and forth, and you could tell, like, there was this really heavy feeling on his heart towards her, but, you know, it was just not something that was really capable. And this is where I go into the acting. The acting on this is top notch across the board. Matter of fact, I haven't even gotten to Harrison Ford yet, but this might be his best well-acted role that I've seen him in years. And I think it's funny because when I looked at Blade Runner, like, I'd never seen him do acting like that ever. And he definitely adds to the character Rick Deckard in this one, and what, you know, Ryan Gosling is presenting him with, the questions that he's bringing to him, what he needs him to do. And it's just like, you can really see him progress as a character, even before your eyes, not just from a time standpoint, but you can really see it. And Harrison Ford, like, brilliantly actually envelops into this role all over again, which is amazing eye candy. But the one that was intriguing to me was Ryan Gosling, is the role of K, because he is a Blade Runner unlike what we've seen before. Like, you understand, like, he wants more but can't have it. And on top of that, who he actually is and, what they platform him to do, it's just crazy. Even the way that, the Blade Runners and other people in society, how they treat replicants is just evil. It's messed up. It's without conscience. And it's funny because Ryan Gosling's character is going with this counterbalance of like his true empathy and just his, responsibility to duty to go and be this LAPD person that he is. And it's just really interesting. You're going to see very early on, like in Ryan Gosling's acting and his IQs. Because before in the original one, you could tell, how replicants or other people would react and stuff like that. And there were moments where it was like this one character I was looking at and I was like, they're a replicant? I couldn't tell. Like even Dave Bautista brings it in a lot of different ways and how he actually platformed himself. Robin Wright as the lieutenant, she does a good job. But the one that I think that stood out that people are going to talk about later on is Sylvia, I think I can pronounce her name, Hoeks, is Hoeks, who plays the role of Love. She does great. She does a really good job. I can't really say why because I don't want to ruin anything in the plot. And that's one of the things about this film. Like, this is a very well drawn out story. This is not something that's like, all right, I'm going to make this movie to make more movies. Like, this is something that's a condensed story that is a true sequel. And at the same exact time, makes you emotionally think and ponder the society that was created within this universe, within this world. Jared Leto does a great job. Like, it's funny because I remember when Jared Leto was talking about, well, I'm going to kind of get into this one little movie and stuff. I was sitting there thinking, like, he's not going to have that many moments. But the moments that he's up there, he just relishes in it. And I think that I heard that when he was in character, that he put some contacts over his eyes that literally made him blind. His character's blind in this film. He does a great job. So it's like all across the board, the acting is top notch, the visual effects are top notch, the soundtrack is done by my man. Oh my gosh, did I really just forget his name? Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer does it. And the weird thing about Hans Zimmer is that what he does is he takes his specific tone or pitch and he runs with it throughout the course of his soundtracks. In this one, it's the revving of the engines or the backdrop of like a sound that's kind of like and moving, kind of like you would hear like a ship moving. And that goes throughout. So even like the raindrops, when you hear stuff coming up, like the sound design is just amazing and soundtrack is amazing. But again, the storyline, I'm not going to say a thing about it because there's so many different secrets. I'm going to literally have to wait later on and tell you guys a spoiler review for this. But I highly recommend you go and check out Blade Runner 2049. I was thinking to myself, man, this is a long tail movie based on, just looking at the time frame. But there was maybe only one moment where I kind of felt like this was an unnecessary moment. That's kind of like a nitpick or something that happens with Ryan Gosling and the character Joey, the AI system. I was kind of like, this is unnecessary. But everything else is all story and progression. And the action moments when they do happen are great. Like, there's some dope fight scenes. There are some, messed up rated R things that kind of happen as well. And like, I'm just appreciative of everything they did. This is very masterful filmmaking at its best. That's the only way I can put it. I give this a 10 out of 10. That's all I got to say. Go and check out my discussions that I had with Kenny about Blade Runner Blackout, the anime, my original review for the Final Cut. You can go and check out all that stuff in the description bar below. But let me know what you think. Go and check out the movie for yourself. Know that this is more on the lines of emotion and storyline. And if you've seen the original one, I highly recommend you check out the Final Cut because the Final Cut will progress you quicker into an understanding of things. And if you're on the fence about it, you can go and check this out and then go back and check out the original. But I really feel like it would help you, service you better to understand where these characters came from as much as where they are now. But I'll talk to you guys later. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Have a blessing, guys. Peace.